Do you often hear, "You should write a book," after you share stories from your past? Or do you have children asking you to write about your life, but you can't do it? Fabulous. Today, I'm going to help you overcome the can't write a story problem. Howdy. Welcome to Write Your Family History. If you're new here, I'm Devin Noel Lee, a published family history author who wants you to learn how to quickly write non-boring family histories to share your legacy with your loved ones. And if you think you can't write, you're in the right place. Today, let me walk you through the process of writing a story about your life when you feel you can't do it. Growing up, I often said, I couldn't do this or I couldn't do that. Finally, a frustrated mentor said, stop saying you can't. Can't means you don't want to or don't know how. Before taking advantage of my advice later in this video, you must determine which is it for you. Do you not want to have your life story recorded? Do you not know how to record your life story? If it's the first, stop watching this video and tell your family and friends why you don't want to record your life story. However, if you think it's because your story is not interesting, please ignore the negative Nancy in your head. Many people would give just about anything to know more about their loved ones and ancestors. If you already have people telling you they want your story, then please recognize they think your story is interesting and worth preserving. Mind you, no one is asking you to attempt to publish your story and make millions by selling the book. Okay, maybe some people say that, but ignore them for now. However, having stories on my shelves about my loved ones and ancestors help me feel a greater connection to something beyond myself. These books aren't bestsellers, but they are worth more to me and my family than the top best books of 2020, whatever. If you don't know how to write your story, then let me suggest the following tips. Writing can be difficult. In fact, when I started educating people about genealogy research, I didn't like writing blog posts. Thus, I started the Family History Fanatics YouTube channel because showing and telling were much easier. You might find it easier to tell your stories rather than write them. For example, my great-aunt Margie started writing stories about her life and her brother, my grandfather. Unfortunately, her arthritis made it difficult, so she switched to recording herself telling me her stories. It went faster, she enjoyed it more, and I loved hearing the inflections in her voice. Therefore, find an audio or video recording device and tell your stories. Then let someone else transcribe them so you don't have to be involved in the writing process. And yet, you have started writing your story. Next, when you're unsure what stories to tell, pull out your photo albums and memorabilia. Then share what you remember about the events captured in these pictures and souvenirs. Don't worry about telling your story in order. Describe what you saw, heard, smelled, tasted, and felt emotionally. Tell the touching, frustrating, sad, and humorous. It's okay to brag a bit. And it's also okay to be disappointed, angry, hostile, whatever. Include emotions and your story will be so much better. The next step involves the assistance of those family and friends who wanted you to tell your story. Have them write out questions they want you to answer. Or have them request which stories they've heard they want you to tell. Again, Aunt Margie enjoyed responding to questions I had about her childhood, how she met her husband, walking the neighbor's cat, and so forth. After each recording session, I would listen to what she said and ask follow-up questions. For several years, we exchanged questions and responses in this fashion. It was awesome. She didn't have to think about what I wanted to hear. I asked lots of questions. By so doing, she shared even more stories I hadn't even heard before. Before we continue, if I've given you value during this video, please click the like button and subscribe to this channel. Then leave a comment or a question with your struggles and successes about writing a family history. In a previous video, I shared why writing prompts aren't exactly helpful. However, after you've used photos and memorabilia and responded to questions and story requests, you can consult a list of personal history writing prompts. Perhaps you'll find questions or suggestions you and your relatives haven't considered. These suggestions might trigger details that we shouldn't forget. If that's the case, use your audio and video recording device and share your responses. Again, you're writing without having to handwrite or type. It's a win-win. Once you have recorded all of the memories using the suggestions I shared before, what then? Well, it depends. Do you want to compile and revise these stories into a book? If you don't want to go through that laborious process, outsource it. You can ask family members or hire freelance ghostwriters to take your recordings and turn them into a manuscript. Once they finish, you can read and add commentary to their work. Thus, you're still involved in the process and telling your story. The writing burden is simply shifted to their shoulders. If you want to take your recordings and turn them into a book, check out writing tips I share on this channel. Start with videos about drafting your story, then editing and enhancing it, and finally publishing the final product. You can write your family's stories when you're not able to, if you have the desire and want to share your legacy with those you love. But remember, it doesn't have to involve writing at all. If you have more questions about how to write personal histories, be sure to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for sticking around. Remember to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. Then go watch this video on how to be motivated to write your stories when you don't think anybody wants to read them.